So we'll go over this together here. So some of these, I think their phrasing could be very confusing. So let's look at number 1 here. It says, choose the word that makes the sentence true. It says the first digit in the quotient of 1,875 divided by 9. In other words, what they're asking you here is that if you were to divide 1,875, divide that by 9, okay, your answer here, what's the first digit? Is it going to be the ones, tens, hundreds, or thousands place? So I'm just going to make up an answer here. Let's say the answer is 726. What's the first digit in 726? It's 7. What place is that? In the hundreds place. So you would just circle hundreds. Do you guys understand that? Okay. Let's say the answer was 87. What's the first digit? 8. What place is the 8 in? In the tens place. So you'd circle 10. So everybody do that right now. Everybody can do that right now. Okay, for 2A through D, all you need to do is mark whether it's true or false. So you're going to have to do the division here and mark whether the answer they have here, so for 2A it's 25, for 2B it's 22, and so forth. If they're wrong, put false. If they're true or correct, put true. All right. Then down at the bottom here, on the first page, it says Chen is checking a division problem by doing the following. He's multiplying 152 by 4, and then he's adding 2. What is the problem Chen is checking? And you need to write the problem. In other words, what is being divided by what? Now, we did some of these a couple weeks ago, and I want you to think about this for a moment. What do you think that 2 represents?
The remainder.
Yeah.
The remainder?
The remainder, okay. So the 2 is the remainder. And I'll just leave it at that. I want you guys to think about this one, see if you can figure it out, okay? All right, turn the page. It says Isaiah wrote the problem in his notebook. Using the vocabulary box, label the parts of the division problem. Then, using the vocabulary, explain how Isaiah can check whether his quotient is correct. So, 72. If you think that's the quotient or the divisor or the dividend, you would write that word in here. If you think 648 is the divisor, dividend, or quotient, you'd write it in here. And what you think 9 is. And then they ask you, there's a second question here. They want to know if it's correct or not. And so then do that problem. And then I guess they didn't really give you a space. I mean, you could put yes or no in here. Okay. So let me do that. I'll just put a yes or a no, and everybody can do that same thing, and then you can just circle if it's yes or no. Okay? Then number 5 here, it says, Tammy says the quotient of 793 divided by 6 is, now that should give you a clue. They're saying this is the quotient. That should help you answer number 4 if you think about it. And it says use multiplication to show if Tammy's answer is correct. Well, what would you multiply 132 by, and then add 1 to see if it's correct? And again, we did something like that. Now, go back to this one here. Remember that 2 represented the remainder? Okay. What do you think this 1 represents? Obviously the remainder. So use multiplication to show if Tammy's answer is correct. What are you going to multiply? What 2 numbers by to see if they are going to be 793? Okay, 6 and 7. A couple word problems. I think you can do those. Jeffrey wants to save the same amount of money each week to buy a new bike. He needs $252. If he wants the bike in 14 weeks, how much money should he save each week? Thank you, honey. Here, take this. So what number are you going to divide by what to solve this one? What number would you divide by what? Anybody?
14 divided by 252.
252 divided by 14. Okay? Next page. Page 103. Divide 575 by 14. That's all. Just do it. And then put your answer. In fact, everybody right down here at the bottom of the box. And just put your answer down there. All right, number 9. You guys follow along here because you might miss something. Just put yes or no. And then don't worry about 10. Turn the page. Now we're at number 11. It says divide and show your work, so you can do that on there. And then number 12, it says choose compatible numbers that will give you the best estimate for 429 divided by 36. Well, in other words, what's going to be closest to these two that'll give you a good estimate? All right, so you'll just circle 2 of them. Number 13 has 2 parts. It says Samuel needs 233 feet of wood to build a fence. The wood comes in lengths of 11 feet. How many total pieces of wood will Samuel need? Explain your answer. Okay, this is important. Total pieces. If there's a few feet left over, well, I won't say anything. I'll just leave it at that. All right. Next page. Number 14. It says Russ and Vicky are trying to solve this problem. There are 146 students taking buses to the museum. If each bus holds 24 students, how many buses will they need? Now, this is important. So here's my buses. Okay? Funny looking buses, but they do look like garbage trucks, you're right. So there's my buses. Let's say I'm going to give you an example apart from this, but this will help you remember because we did one like this about a week ago. If I have to transport, let's say, 35 students and each bus holds 10, how many buses will I need? Yes?
4.
I'll need 4 because even though one bus will only have 5 students in it, I still need 4 buses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind when you do this problem. All right, so if you have a couple students left over, you're still going to need a whole nother bus for them. All right? How many buses, total buses, how many will they need? All right, 15, don't need to worry about that. Put a big X through it. Next page, 16. Steve is buying apples for 5th grade. Each bag holds 12 apples. If there are 75 students, how many bags of apples will Steve need to buy if he wants to give 1 apple to each student? You guys can. Let's go down to 19 here. Dylan estimates that the first digit in the quotient. Okay, so we did some problems like this last week where they may have made a mistake. And is his estimate too high or too low? So you need to figure out how many times 46 fits into 366. Does it fit in 7 times, 6 times, 5 times? Okay? That's it. Have at it.